What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest channel and podcast with me, Beth. If you have not subscribed yet, please do go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And let's get into this conversation. Now, I've done a few conversations where I've talked about some stories about those who are called scammers under the PPP program that was put in place during the Trump administration for COVID relief for small businesses, and how, honestly, I felt about some of the people that scammed. And listen, I'm not here to give a pass to anyone that has done wrong, whether it was on a small scale or a large scale. And I'm not even here to say that anyone is absolutely perfect, because I can say myself as a small business owner, but I mean, I have an accountant that helps me to do things legally. Most people in business, especially small businesses, we are doing the best we can with what we have, and we are trying to grow. But a lot of times the government doesn't make it easy for us, because we do pay a lot in taxes. There's a lot of different taxes that we who are small business owners pay. And to be honest with you, those who are at the very top, they get the most tax breaks. So when you hear of people like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk and, those people like that, they don't pay their fair share in federal taxes. So a lot of that trickles down on the majority of us who are small business owners. It trickles down more so on us than it does for just the regular middle class families that are working on jobs and things like that. Nobody likes to see a lot of taxes being taken out of their check. I get it. But when this situation came where a lot of people were able to get money for their businesses, that it would essentially turn into a grant, because if you used it for what it was supposed to be used for, it was called the Payroll Protection Program or Paycheck Protection Program, PPP. All a lot of people have been hearing is PPP, but in what they created it for, it really was supposed to help keep people staffed who were employed by companies, so that it did not have this huge increase in the unemployment numbers. That's really what it was about. So it was like, okay, we're going to grant you some money. If you use it for payroll, you have to use a certain percentage for payroll, and then others for business expenses like rent and inventory, business bills, utilities and things like that, and you show proof that that's what you used it for, then it was forgiven. And I've stated this before. I wasn't going to turn it down when my accountant told me about it. So I did get it for the first round in 2020, but in 2021, guess what? I didn't get anything. Not that I didn't apply, because I qualified for it. I'm a small business owner and I have employees, and I have had employees since 2012. It's a lot. So if the government is granting money to businesses to help them to keep people staffed and help them to pay some of their bills and pay some taxes possibly, then absolutely, you would be a fool to turn it down if you have a legitimate business and you can use that and help you to get by for a little bit. But in 2021, I didn't get anything. And you know why? They said because they ran out of funds. And I didn't get millions of dollars like a lot of these people who are scamming the government did. But here's the story. It's been reported that the Biden administration has cleared the way for the IRS to bring on close to 90,000 more workers so that they can audit small business owners and they can go after PPP scammers. And I'm not into politics. I've heard different things on both sides. I've heard, oh, well, this is what the Democrats wanted to do. They wanted to come after the small businesses. This is going to cause a lot of small businesses to go out of business and things like that. Or they're going to have the IRS coming after regular people. So they're going to just audit all of these people and they're going to come after you. They're coming after you, the little guy. I don't know. I don't know. But here's how I feel. If you're doing the right thing, Yeah, nobody wants to get audited. I have been before as a small business, and it's not fun. But at the end of it all, everything's proven to be legit. And when you hear audit, a lot of times when you hear audit, you think, oh my God, they're coming to see if you did something wrong. It's not so much that they're coming to see if you did something wrong. They just want you to have proof to back up what you previously had on your tax returns, whether it was small business returns or your regular, returns if you're not a business owner. It's just having proof to back up what you're saying, right? And if you're doing that, then there's really nothing to fear. It's a huge inconvenience. And again, I'm not saying that anyone should welcome it. No one wants to go through that. But at the end of it all, if you're doing the right thing, there's really nothing to fear. And I've been in an IRS office before. I've been in the local offices before. It sucks, but you deal with it and then you move on. And life is as it was. But here's what I wanted to talk about, because I'm not just here to talk about, oh, they're coming after all the PPP scammers. If they do it, then so be it. I don't really think it's going to help anything in terms of helping small businesses, because so many businesses lost out. There were a lot of businesses that did not make it through the pandemic and they had to shut down. Some may have regrouped to do something different on a smaller scale, and God bless them if they have the resiliency to move forward and do that, but not a lot of people have. And I'm grateful to say that I made it through the pandemic. I'm still in business. But here's what I wanted to say. Was this a setup? Was this a setup? Because look, I get it with everything that happened in 2020 that was so unexpected with the pandemic, and people had to quarantine or, stay indoors for a certain period of time, wasn't able to go to work. Businesses were not able to operate and function unless they were seen as an essential business. So they were just trying to get money into the hands of people as quickly as possible. But why didn't they have more checks in place to prevent those who were not supposed to get money from getting it? And that's why I wanted to talk about this. Do you think that the PPP, those people who got money illegitimately, was a setup? Not so much for, the scammers, but was it a setup? Because now they're going to be going after these people. They're going to be prosecuting people. How is that going to put any money into the pockets of those who lost out? Small businesses who didn't get their just due. Because those people who got the money illegitimately, they were buying Porsches, Range Rovers, Bentleys, Rolex watches, going on shopping sprees, going to expensive dinners. They were putting money back into the economy. So the government essentially really got what they wanted, which was to keep the economy going, because these people were out there spending it. Most of the scammers, they're going to scam. So they're not going to say, you know what, I'm going to get this money and I'm going to save it. I'm going to put it in stocks and purchase Bitcoin and invest it and possibly buy property, even though, they can seize the property too. And most of the time they do if they can find it. But yeah, that's still, even though they can seize it, that's a win-win for the government, because not only did they put the money into the economy, but they get to take back what they put out into the economy by buying those cars, buying those Rolex watches, buying houses, the things that they did purchase that they can seize. It's a win-win for the government. So I just wanted to know, do you think that this was a setup? And I'm starting to think that it was. Because idiots, do what idiots do. I never tried to get more than what my business qualified for. The paperwork that was filled out, I had proof to back it up. And so my payroll was what my payroll was. I didn't try to fudge the numbers and say my payroll is, $2 million a month. And I had, 10,000 employees. Like, no, at the time, I think I had 12 employees and my payroll wasn't, more than 30,000 a month. So that's, what it was. That's the truth. And I was able to back it up. But the people that were out here just straight lying, one of, one, on the scale of not ever owning a business, or two, having a business but extremely fudging the numbers. To me, it was like the perfect setup for the government. And so I, in a way, feel like it was a setup. I'm not saying that those who scam should get by or get away. They've gotten by for a little while, but it doesn't seem like they're going to be getting away, because now the Biden administration has given them the right to just really go full force after these people and begin prosecuting. So now people are going to have prison records. If they have to serve time, they're going to serve time, so they're going to get a lot of free or cheap labor from these people being behind bars. And then if they get probation, then you pay money to be on probation. You have to pay restitution and fines and all of these different things like that. So to me, it really sounds like it was a huge setup, because I just believe that they could have had some measures in place. Listen, almost everything technology-wise they have access to. They should have been able to connect names, social security numbers, and EINs to the IRS in some way to prove that these companies even existed. And it couldn't have been a new company that you created. It had to have been a business that was established before the pandemic hit. So there should have been measures that they put in place to just red flag and say, nope, not going to approve you. This is not true. And yeah, they probably still prosecute people who attempted but did not get the money. But for those who got it, they never should have even been able to receive the funds. And that way, the money should have gone to those businesses that really definitely truly needed it. And I saw a lot of stories, read a lot of stories about different businesses like that across the country that were waiting, needed the money, and they didn't get it. Some, they tried to hold on as long as they could, had to fire and lay off staff, small restaurants that were started by a husband and wife, and they continued to hold on and work in it as much as they possibly could. And some of them, they continued to move on in spite of it being as hard as it was. And then some just said, you know what, this is for the birds. I can't do this anymore. So I just really want to know what you guys think. Do you feel that this PPP situation was a setup in the first place? And I'm starting to believe that it was. So you can let me know your thoughts about it in the comment section. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing. And until the next time, I'm Beth, and I'm just being beautifully honest.